Hi guys, it's Rob here with IT 201 Video 2, and we were just going over how we keep our graphics and our code separate in Flash and Unity. So what we do is we create the graphics, we bring them into the game engine, and Flash isn't necessarily a game engine. It's used to make interactive media, but for all intents and purposes, right now refer to Flash and Unity as game engines. We're bringing in our graphics, we're typing in the code in a development environment for Flash, right? We're going to type it we're going to turn it into an action script file, and with Unity we're typing it into mono-develop, and we're going to have a .cs file, right? So or .js, so C# or JavaScript, depending on which one you're programming in Unity. However, right now we're focusing on Flash and how you define your own method or function. And also, why would you want to do this? Well, we use functions to keep our code modular. You see, we don't want to keep repeating the same lines of code over and over when we want to perform a certain task. So, if you notice that you're doing something more than once in your code, it's a good idea to write a function, especially for those really useful, essential parts of the code that you could just constantly call. So now, one line of code is replacing however many lines of directives you have within the function body. Now, how do we do this? Well, we create a function by using the keyword function. The name of your function goes here, followed by these parentheses, :void. Now, you don't have to use void. Void stands for the return type, right? So void means nothing is returned. Now, if your function, say, returns an integer, right, well, then you're going to put an integer type here. I forget if that's int or integer. I'm not too sure with ActionScript with that specific one. But if it's a Boolean, right, bool or Boolean, whichever one Flash uses. Again, it's been a while since I've programmed in ActionScript, so I don't remember exactly the types, whether it's one or two, but that's easily looked up in the documentation. Now, we have the body of code here, right, which is started and ended with curly braces, and in here you put directives, right, or your body of code that what this function does. And this whole thing is called a function definition, which is how you define your own method or function. Now, what do you need for an event, for example, to click a button? Now, this is very important, guys, because on the midterm examination, and sometimes in IT 201, there's only a final examination because kids are given extra time to, in certain instances, to do a project, or maybe there's a few snow days. So sometimes, you know, we may only have one big test at the end, or we may have a midterm and a final. But on the examination, usually one of the questions is, what are the steps to making a clickable button in Flash? So hint, hint, this is important to know. Now, the first step is import the event class. For example, we would do import flash.events.mouseEvent. Next, we would add an event listener. So we would go stage.addEventListener, mouseEvent.click, onClick. Now, next, we would write the event handler. This is the last step. So we create a function onClick, event, mouseEvent, returning type void, and the code for what happens when the button is clicked goes here. So that's straightforward enough. And if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that onClick with these parameters is a Flash-defined function, right? So in Unity, we have, for example, update or start. These are defined within Unity so that when it sees this line of code, it knows that this is called, right? For those, it would be to initialize variables with start, or update would be called once per frame. But in Flash, this is how Flash identifies the function for when a button is clicked. So just be aware of that. Now, properties are features of an object that you can control with code. Static text is used for text that does not change, right? So if you had a score variable, this might just be the word score for the static text. For the dynamic text, is a text field that can be programmed so that the text it displays changes based on what's happening in the program. Now, what might happen with this is you might have the actual score, which could go up or down within the game depending on your game. You may have that in a dynamic text field. And now, input text is a text field that allows the user to type in some text. So note that we have 3 types of text in Flash. And that's about it, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Please, again, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.